Hey guys, welcome to Wave. We talk about a lot of things crypto. If that interests you, then subscribe to the channel. In this episode, we'll talk about one of the OG cryptocurrencies. Right? There's one fundamental problem with Bitcoin is that it is pseudonymous, not anonymous. What do I mean by that? Well, imagine this: if I had your bank account number, or let's say you transacted using your bank account, and somebody was able to get your bank account number. If your bank provided a website where they could input a bank account number and get all your transactions, your balance, etc., isn't that a security risk? Is that something that you would want? Right? That's precisely what is possible with Bitcoin. Although the wallet address is something that we don't know. Maybe if you go and start looking at wallet addresses, you might not know who it is. But let's say somebody did send you a Bitcoin, then you would know who sent it to you. Hence, Bitcoin is pseudonymous. Let's do one simple example, right? So I've just googled for Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet address. I'm getting some address here. It says it's the Genesis address. So I go to blockchain.com. I click on the Bitcoin Explorer. I search for this address, and I am able to see this address, of course, on Bitcoin Classic as well as Bitcoin BCH. So now I am able to see for that wallet address every transaction that has ever been made, right? Can you just see that? Every transaction, right? So this transaction was made on 12th of June 2022 at 5:40. Some wallet sent them 0.0056 Bitcoin. So you can go back and see the entire history of transactions of this wallet. And if you had a Bitcoin wallet, and if you had transacted with somebody, this is a problem that they would perpetually be able to track you, and know exactly where you're spending the money, what you're doing with it, and so on. Now this is where there are several companies that have been built on top of this, where there are services which track where, especially whales, what are they doing with the Bitcoin. Are they moving it? Are they buying it? Are they moving it out of exchanges? Are they liquidating it? So these are all very closely tracked. And this is one such example where and of course people are constantly interested in knowing whether Satoshi Nakamoto himself is moving it or not. So 100 Bitcoin suspected of belonging to a Satoshi Nakamoto wallet moved out after 12 years of inactivity. So these are things that people constantly track, right? So that is the fundamental problem with Bitcoin, and that's where a currency like Monero comes into place. So Monero is one of the OG cryptocurrencies. It was, I think, it was founded back in 2014. It has a long history. Its focus entirely is on privacy and censorship resistant transactions. So the original community that is probably behind the whole blockchain movement, who strongly believe in the blockchain movement, they're all extremely paranoid about censorship. They're all extremely paranoid about privacy, and this is one such currency that made them feel better. This is something that they started using. So because Monero transactions are confidential, it's untraceable. You can't, if I sent you Monero with your public address, with that public address I cannot go and search for their transactions, just like what I did with Bitcoin, right? That's not possible. And it's inexpensive, so there are a lot of people who want to use this. The fee is low. Monero is also a grassroots community. This is it has been there for a long time. There are a specific group of people who genuinely believe in the cause and hence have been contributing to this from a long time. So it is not a bunch of people who want to probably make money off it or something. This is a bunch of people who truly believe in in being censorship resistant, in being in the whole idea of privacy, and hence they have been contributing to this project. You can go to their website, see the exact details of what is Monero and so on, but I'll try and give you some history behind it. So Monero was started off, it traces its history back to something called Bitcoin. From there it was forked about 2 times, I guess, and finally Monero was launched around 2014, April of 2014. If you go and see their roadmap, they have a hard fork every 6 months, So some upgrades keep happening. So we have seen a history of upgrades, and it's constantly being updated. You can go to their website as well. They have a section on releases, so they talk about all the releases that that are happening. This is good because if a crypto is taking their activity very seriously, they are contributing to it. They have a future roadmap. And their past roadmap has been successful. They are they have something to achieve and they do it. That is extremely good because that means that the crypto is serious about what they want to do, and they're not a scam. They're not here to take your money and run away. So that is one of the important things. So Ricardo has been one of the lead contributors. I think he recently moved away. It has a wide variety of investors. So if you just look at all these fund names from across the world, there are a number of investors who also believe in this idea. In terms of tokenomics, so there was no initial distribution per se because Monero was a fork of another project. The supply schedule is something like this. So Monero is not fixed. Right? Unlike Bitcoin, which has a 21 million limit, Monero does not have a limit. However, its inflation is very small. It is going to reduce to I think some 0.6 Monero very soon. So the supply schedule is something like this. By let's say about January 2026, it is going to taper off. It's plateauing. The total Monero is somewhere around about 18 million or so. So this is where it will 18-19 million. This is where it will plateau, and there's a very small inflation rate every year. It's a healthy inflation rate. So while it might not be fixed, while theoretically it can have infinite supply, looking at the inflation rate, that's perfectly fine because it's not increasing so much that your value will get diluted on a year on year basis. Now let's see, what did Monero really achieve, right? So on their website there is a section in the blog section where you can read about what did Monero do in 2022 or leading up to 2022 rather. So Monero's transactions have grown from something like 10,000 transactions per day to over 23,000 transactions per day as of April 2021, and from there, as of April 2022, that has grown to about 40,000 transactions a day. Right, not bad at all. That's enormous usage, 40,000 transactions per day. Blockchain has seen a significant growth both in 2021 as well as in 2022. They also track emissions and some other details. Fees is also given here on a daily basis. About 5.16 Monero is spent in fees. You can check out all these details on their website. You can also check out some of their social media activity. This is very important because social media activity talks about or gives an insight into why people believe in it. Are people talking about it? And of course, these people will make it more popular and hence more adoption, which means hence more price eventually. Right. So the Monero main subreddit has gained over 43,000 subscribers in leading up to 2021 April, and from there another 46,000 subscribers leading up to April 2022. So that's a stable increase in subscriber rate. It has well over 250,000 subscribers as of now. So that's a pretty good growth that it has seen. Year-on-year growth has been about 22%. So this token has sort of reaching a maturity stage, right? In terms of Twitter, its main Twitter handle gained about 69,000 subscribers as of last year. Gained about 84,000 subscribers as of April 2022. So close to 500,000 followers right now. That's what's happening on their Twitter handle. And who's accepting it? This is probably the most important thing, right? I keep talking about adoption. Unless somebody is using it, unless somebody is willing to accept it. So Monero being a currency, somebody should be willing to accept it as a currency. Right? So if somebody should be willing to sell some product or service in exchange for Monero. And are people using it? You can actually check that out here. So that on their website, there are many platforms that they list. You can go to one of them. So for instance, this website here, it's talking about over 1,200 close to 1,300 merchants as of June 2022 who accept Monero. Don't go by the numbers because this might be small numbers, but many of these are high value transactions because there is a smaller community here who are paranoid, and they would rather use Monero than use something like Bitcoin, right? And hence those are the people who would who would want to use this currency. If you look at this, coin cards did as much volume in Monero as we did in Bitcoin, right? And this was as of March 2022. So you can see how Monero is still gaining popularity. It still has its community that will continue to use it. There are a lot of charity projects which also accept Monero. And if you go to exploremonero.com, you can see the block activity. This is something that I always want to see, because this is like an authentic source of trying to identify what are the number of transactions and so on. So if you look at this, 4 minutes ago there were about 118 transactions here, 5 minutes ago 143 transactions. So that's a lot of transactions, right? So there is usage, there is adoption, people are still believing in this, and that's what gives me confidence. If you go to a rating website, a rating aggregator rather, like BaseRank, you can see what ratings have different rating agencies or rating service providers provided. Token Insight gives it a rating of about 70. 100 is the maximum. Team is where they probably lack. Project ecosystem, that's better. If you look at Blockonomy, a little more exhaustive, again close to a 70 score, just like what Token Insight had given. So Blockonomy says it's on product it's about 4 out of 5, on team it's about 4 out of 5, token fundamentals about 4.5, GitHub 4, marketing 3, partnerships 3, uniqueness 3. So this also gives a favorable number, and overall I did not see any extremely unfavorable numbers. So that might be a good indicator. Monero today is trading at about $122. It's all time. So your total supply is infinite, like I mentioned, because it is an inflationary currency. It does not have a fixed number, but inflation is very small. So most likely, even after I don't know, a decade or so, I don't think it'll cross even 20 million. So there's nothing to worry in that sense. If you look at the all-time high was somewhere 4 years ago. It was $542. This was over 4 years ago, because in the last cycle is when Monero really took off in terms of price. This is where a lot of, because the number of tokens were limited, Monero is one of those OG cryptos, like I mentioned, which had all the hype around privacy, and hence price shot up a lot. It's been over 4 years, and Monero has not reached that level. It's 74% down since then. That happens with cryptos, because when something comes out, there is a hype, the price shoots up. Then people start realizing, once adoption and the project really starts taking off, people start realizing that, oh wait, it might not be worth so much. And then the price rationalizes, it comes down to a more reasonable level. And I think that's probably what has happened to Monero. So let's look at probably a recent high to see what levels it can possibly try and reach. So one of the recent highs, probably if I take this number here, around $415, very close to this. Sorry, that was the previous number. Let's look at this number. Yeah, around $422. So yeah, in 2021. So that's also reasonable. $422, almost 80% of where its all-time high was. That seems like at the hype cycle high, but that's fine. That's a reasonable level that it has reached. Even from there, I think it's about maybe 60% down as of today. So looks like a great currency that has been in existence for a long time, has its own niche set of users. I'm not. I don't think this will reach like $1 trillion market cap or something. That's not possible. Market cap today is about $2.5 billion. I don't think this will reach like $1 trillion market cap, but I think considering the community, maybe a 50 billion market cap tops optimistically, looking at use cases, and also considering that there are many other privacy tokens coming into place. Maybe a 50 billion market cap, that it still gives it a 20x growth from here. This is one of those currencies that should probably be a foundation for your portfolio. Things that have been in existence for a long time, things that can give you a decent return, might not be extraordinary, might not be those 1000x returns, but still a safe currency for the future. If you're looking at a low risk currency, that might give you some decent returns, maybe a 2x, maybe a 5x, potentially 20x in the long run if this whole privacy and adoption increases. Then yes, potentially 20x, but I see at least a decent 2 to 5x kind of a returns in the next bull run. So that's something you might want to consider. This is my analysis. You should do your own research before investing in it. This is purely educational content. Just wanted to make that disclaimer.